sorry, in the first lesson, we have identified the fractions. Uh, it's a very basic technique that we have used in the initial scenario. We have divided a whole into parts and we explained a part of the fraction in this way. And we talked about the line of symmetry. Anyone who has not watched the video, you can go to my playlist and you can watch the lesson 1 that is called how to identify a fraction. The name of the video is how to identify a fraction. That is the lesson 1. We have discussed two things in it, that if the line of symmetry or any part on which we are going to fold the shape is equally dividing it into two parts, it is called half. Like this example, this part on the right and the part on the left both are same. So this is called a half. There was another question in which I have taken another diagram that was a scalene triangle, and I just drawn a line in between the center of the line as I assumed, and I asked the question, is this a half? If you cut and fold or overlap the shape, you can see that the right hand side of the diagram is not equal to the left hand side of the diagram. So both the parts will be fraction, but we cannot identify the fraction as half because they are not equal parts. So equality is the basic integration for identifying a fraction. If we divide an equal part into two, that is going to be half. If we are going to divide one part into four, that will be a fourth, and so on. The rest of the details you can go and watch the video. In lesson number 2, we have discussed about different types of fractions. We have discussed about the notation of the fraction, that if we are having a fraction 1 over 4, one is called the numerator and 2 is called the denominator. And we have discussed that what is a numerator and what is the denominator. You can check the details from the previous video, that is lesson number 2. Now we're going to talk about different other forms. Like this is a fraction and we ask that what is the shape of purple. Now you can see that there are total 6 parts and 2 out of them were purple. So we said that it was 2 over 6. And another way of writing the fraction is 1 over 3. So we can write a fraction in more than one ways. These type of fractions are called equivalent fractions. We have not discussed the topic in detail in lesson number 2, but inshallah we will be talking about equivalent fractions in our next video. Because this is an elaborate topic, we are going to touch a little bit in this topic, but the details will be covered in next topic. Then we have talked about like fractions, and we have talked about unlike fractions. Whenever we are going to talk about any scenario, whether we are comparing a fraction or we are going to add or subtract or multiply, these two names, like and unlike fractions, will be repeatedly used with your rules and the formulas. So you have to be very clear about it. Again, you can watch the previous video, lesson 2, for the details. Then we have talked about proper and improper fraction, and we have talked about mixed numbers. Mixed number, another name is compound fractions. Again, these three terms, proper noun, improper noun, mixed numbers or compound fractions, they are very important when you are solving the fractions. You will be explained about how to convert an improper fraction into a mixed number or a mixed number into an improper fraction, because you're going to do it off and on when you're solving the fractions. So today we are going to talk about how to compare fractions. That is the main topic of our video. Okay, let's start with the first type. We have talked about like fractions and unlike fractions. So we're going to talk about the like fractions first. As you know, I'm going to repeat that like fractions were those whose denominators are same. Like you can see 1 over 9, 3 over 9, 8 over 9, 4 over 9. All the denominators are 9. So the first rule is if the denominators are same. That means if they are like fractions. How can you identify that a fraction is greater or smaller. It's a simple rule. The greater the numerator, the greater will be the fraction. Like in case 1, 3, 8, and 4, 8 over 9 is the greatest. So we will say that 8 over 9 is the greatest fraction. Okay, this is a simple rule and you can easily identify it. Now we are going to move on to unlike fractions. When we are talking about unlike fractions, we have more than one rules. Like the rule number 2 is when the numerators are same. Like you can see 2 over 5, 2 over 8, 2 over 7 and 2 over 9. They all have different denominators 5, 8, 7 and 9. So they are unlike fractions but their numerators are same. So in this rule, when you have all the numerators same, how can you identify the which fraction is the greatest and which fraction is the lowest? We are just going to follow a simple rule. If the numerators are same, we are going to check the denominators. The bigger the denominator, the smaller will be the fraction. Remember, it is the opposite of rule number 1. Like in this case, 5, 8, 7 and 9. 9 is the greatest denominator. So 2 over 9 will be the smallest fraction. And 5 is the smallest denominator. So 2 over 5 will be the greatest fraction. I'm going to talk about this in detail when we are going to talk about them diagrammatically. Now let's come to rule number 3. In this case, we have unlike fractions like 2, 8, 6 and 8. They are all different. 8 and 8 are same, but we can have at least 3 which are different. And you can check the numerators 1, 2, 3, 5. They are all different. So when we have both numerator and denominators different, how can we identify that which one is greater and which one is smaller? Over here, we have two rules again. One rule is for the smaller number and the second rule is for the bigger number. We are going to talk about the smaller number first because we are going to use the diagrams for that. Can you see that 1 over 2 means half of whatever you have. 2 over 8 means 2 out of 8 parts. 4 over 6 means 4 out of 6 parts. And 5 over 8 means 5 parts out of 8. Can you see that in the first diagrammatic representation, I have 8 shapes out of which 4 are colored. That means they are half. 4 over 8 is an equivalent fraction to 1 over 2. So we, instead of writing 4 over 8, we are just going to write 1 over 2 for that. Again, 2 over 8. Out of 8, we are going to color 2 parts. Then again 5 over 8. Out of 8, we are going to color 5. Look at 4 over 6. We have used the same area. The area that we have used for all the diagrams is same. The starting point and the ending point are same. In this case, we have used 6 diagrams instead of 8 and colored 4. Now, how can we check that which one is greater? Just check the purple parts. 1 over 2 and 2 over 8. Definitely, you can see easily 1 over 2 is greater. Then move down 4 over 6 and 5 over 8. This is a little confusing because they both seem similar. But when you compare them from 1 over 2 and 2 over 8, they both seems to be greater. So in this case, we just have to decide whether 4 over 6 is the greatest number or 5 over 8 is the greatest number. Use your line. When you use a line, because the starting point and the ending point are same for all the diagrams, use the line that will indicate a very clear position of the colored part. Now you can see that 4 over 8 covers more area than 5 over 8. That means that 4 over 6 is greater than 5 over 8. So in short, we have just represented all the diagrams in a similar amount of shape. Like if we are using 8 squares, we are using 8 squares for all. If we are using 4 squares, we are using 4 squares of all. In the first diagram, we have divided the whole shape into 2 parts. In second, we have divided it into 8 parts. In third, we have divided it into 6 parts. And in last, we have again divided into 8 parts. And then we have colored it. And then with the colored portion, we decided which one is greater and which one is smallest. Like in this unlike fractions, 2 over 8 is the smallest fraction because it covers less area, and 4 over 6 cover the most area, so it is the greatest part. So I hope rule number 3 is clear. Now, when we are comparing unlike fractions similar to the previous one, but they have bigger numbers like 10 over 12, 12 over 28, 13 over 36, 15 over 18. Now they are quite big numbers. Do you think you can easily draw the diagrams for these? Or to be specific, can you draw the diagrams that are exactly equal when you are having 18 parts and 28 parts and 36 parts? Okay, when the numbers are divisible by 2, maybe yes. You have to draw it on big chart papers or big sheets, but maybe yes, you can draw it. But if the diagrams are like 3, 5, 9, 7, those which are odd numbers and those which do not divide equally when you have different sort of denominators, so that is very difficult task. So the diagrammatic method to find the value of comparison, which one is greater and which one is smaller, is very difficult when you have bigger numbers or when you have odd numbers. So over here we have another rule. The rule we will be applying for the bigger numbers or for those numbers with which we cannot use the diagrams easily, like 1 over 3, 1 over 5, 1 over 9, 1 over 18. Okay, we will be using equivalent fractions for that purpose. Do you remember what were the equivalent fractions? Okay, we'll just move back to equivalent fractions now. Like when we talked about 2 over 6 and 3 over 2 over 6 and 1 over 3, we said that these were equivalent fractions. Like if we have to compare 2 over 6 and 1 over 3, we can easily say that these are equal. Or if we have to compare 2 over 4 and 4 over 8, we can see that both of them are equal. We just have to draw the diagram in any sort of way and we can say they are equal. But we have discussed about equivalent fractions in short, and we have discussed that if we multiply and divide the same number with the numerator and with the denominator, we can make the equivalent fractions. Now come back to the last screen. We have 10 over 12, 12 over 28, 13 over 36, 18 over 36. So we have 4 numbers in the denominator: 12, 28, 36, and 18. We have to check for such a number which is having 12, 28, 36, and 18 as a factor, or the factors of this number should be present in it. Like we should multiply all these number with such a number that all the denominators or all the numerators should be same. So we can have the rule of unlike fractions with same numerator, or we can have the rule for like fractions with same denominator. We will be covering this topic tomorrow, and the topic of that class will be equivalent fractions. When I have